Hi, this is Dec Cluskey speaking. The founder of the Serious Writers Guild and the owner of Makehits.com, makehits.co.uk, dedicated to helping you. I get a lot of emails about songwriting. So what I'm going to do the next few weeks, I'm going to give you a few tricks, a few thoughts, and give you the definite professional way that the money is made in songwriting. And I think you'll be surprised that it's quite different to what you will know and what you will have heard down the pub with Charlie in the rock band or whatever. So let's get going. First question I always get asked is inspiration. Where do you get the inspiration from? Well, the real answer to that is two ways of looking at it. You either go down the road of being the sort of glamorous songwriter and writing from the heart and all that stuff, which I don't subscribe to at all, unless you're in a rock band, you're on the road and you've got a fan base and all that sort of stuff, or unless you really made it, Radiohead, whatever, Kings of Leon, whatever. Then you can write from the heart and the fans will expect it. But to get away, what we call get away, in other words, have your first success, you've got to be very, very commercially minded. And you've got to be concentrating on making money, because that is what the record company want, or the people who run iTunes, Amazon, whatever. They're interested in the money, and that's what you've got to be interested in. So writing from the heart and all that stuff, save that for later when you've got 30,000 fan base, 1 million fan base, 2 million fan base. We got 5 million on Facebook. Honestly, that's when to do that. Before a start, you've got to start with that idea of making money. So the inspiration I would suggest should be the money. Now Elton John, he famously said this line. His inspiration comes at 10 o'clock in the morning, sitting in front of his piano, in front of a blank piece of manuscript paper. That's music paper. Because he considers himself to be what's called a jobbing songwriter. That's what he does for a living. Even though he made shed loads of money, and he still makes shed loads of money every time he sits down at the piano, it's sitting down to make money. Not writing from the heart and all that stuff. It's to make money. And that's what I would suggest you should do. So that's where inspiration should come from. But let's get on to the real inspiration. Where do you get the song from? Well, there's various stories around. Sir Paul McCartney was in a taxi going to a studio, and he said to the taxi driver, "Are you working hard at the moment?" And the taxi driver said, "Oh, it's like working 8 days a week." Now does that tell you a little story about where inspiration comes from? It can happen any time. For instance, you could be talking to a friend, a mate. She could say to you, "Oh, I was at a party last night, it was fantastic, I was in the kitchen all night." That's where all the booze usually is. And then you say, "Yeah, that's why you'll always find me in the kitchen at parties." That's why you'll always find me in the kitchen at parties. See what I mean? It can come from anywhere. I would suggest to you, in this 4 minutes, that you take note of everything that's said. If you're watching a chef program, for instance, one of those reality programs, because what I'm going to tell you is very important here. All of those programs where you see judges, all that stuff is written. It's not really written. They've got crib cards in front of them with ideas and suggestions. Like, for instance, the chef programs, they'll have lines written down like, "I'm really impressed." Now that may sound like nothing, but when one of those chefs tastes the food and he looks up and he goes, "I'm really impressed," that has been written by a team of writers. So a lot of the stuff you pick up on the chef programs, reality programs, it's all written. So anywhere stuff is written, take note. Films are all written. Plays on the radio, they're all written by wordsmiths. So whenever you hear a great line, and have a notepad, have notepads ready. This is what I carry around with me all the time. Look, it's a very natty little thing. It's a little notebook. got some cards in there, and there's a notebook. Look, I can write down any sort of inspiration that comes to me. Anytime I hear anybody say anything exciting that could fit into a song, I've got it in the notepad. I would suggest you do that. So listen, 4 minutes goes very quickly. So until I see you next time, get in touch with me, dec@makehits.com. I do reply to emails, you know. And get onto the website as well. So listen, the next part is going to be fantastic. So I'll see you very soon. Bye.